It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the USA wheelchair basketball Paralympian Steve Sergo. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Brandon. Thanks for having me.
Can you tell us about how you knew that you wanted to compete as a professional athlete?
Yeah, absolutely. When I started playing adaptive sports, I was still a teenager. The idea of being a professional athlete really never entered my mind. I'm a prototypical team sport athlete, which means that I really just play sports that I love because I just want to be with my friends. I want to be with people that I truly care about. And, I want to push the boundaries of what we all think collectively is possible. So the idea of being a professional athlete, that's not how it all started. I just love to play the game. But now that I've been playing for so long, Team USA athlete, and gotten the chance to travel all over the world, the professional side of sports is one that I never thought possible, but I'm really happy I went down this path.
What was it like going to the University of Illinois and playing wheelchair basketball?
Getting a chance to attend a Big Ten school like the University of Illinois was a little bit of a dream mixed with some culture shock. Being from New York City, it was the first time I ever saw a cow was when I stepped onto the campus at the University of Illinois for the first time. So I felt like a whole new world was opened up to me. But it was at that university where I learned how to build habits. I learned how to prioritize my time, and I really learned that being a Team USA athlete and being a professional athlete is something that I could do full time. And a lot of those habits that I built in those collegiate days carried on with me through my professional time in Europe and all throughout my Team USA career.
Of course, what was that feeling like getting to put on that University of Illinois jersey?
Yeah, getting a chance to compete for a school like that, it's the one time in your life where you get a chance to play like a high level, highly competitive sport with people who are all in the same point in their life. When we're on Team USA, there are people who are married, kids, jobs, very established, maybe a little bit later in their career, mixed with some up and coming, collegiate athletes or some juniors even. But the collegiate game allows everyone who's at the same point in their life. We have the same struggles with university and social struggles and just all that stuff, all coming together to have one common goal. And that's the one thing that I'll look back on from my U of I days, is the people that I got a chance to play and practice every day with and compete with, that we were all kind of going through the same stuff, the same transitions, the same struggles and the same triumphs. And yeah, I wouldn't give it up for anything.
How is it like, obviously, competing for a national championship in college in wheelchair basketball?
I mean, anytime you get a chance to compete for a national championship in any sport, you want to seize that opportunity. I've had the privilege of competing in three different national championship games, and I was fortunate enough to win two of them. So, getting a chance to climb that mountain and to reach the top and just celebrate with your teammates, the coaching staff, it's a feeling unlike any other, and it's just leads to a lot of fond memories that I have from my University of Illinois days.
Of course, after playing for the University of Illinois, what was it like going overseas and playing professionally in Germany?
Yeah, talk about a culture shock. Getting a chance to move to Europe when I was in my early 20s, kind of like the prime of my life, no responsibilities, and to not only get paid to do what I love, but to travel across the ocean learn a new culture, meet new people, and learn a new language. That experience was so incredibly memorable, and I'm so thankful to have the opportunity to do that. Not a lot of adaptive sports athletes have the ability to play professionally, and it just so happened that for our sport, all the professional leagues are over in Europe, which provides us with the opportunity to not only play the sport that we love, but to grow off the court as well. You know, personally, like I said, by learning a new language, learning a new culture, and I just feel like I'm a much more well-rounded human because of that experience. I got hooked up with a wonderful club team called RSV Londale. My first contract I remember was for 8 months, and I think I've played 6 seasons for that club team. So obviously, it was a great experience for me, and one that I'm really happy I got a chance to be a part of.
How did your time playing overseas help you into making the first time for the Team USA team?
Yeah, so I made my first Team USA before I went overseas. But my Team USA experience has always come down to growth. And I attribute a lot of that growth to, challenging myself both off and on the court. Just becoming a more well-rounded human, looking at things through a different lens, by being in another country and another culture has lent me to not only be a better athlete and a better teammate, but a better leader and a better way to communicate with people that come from all different aspects and walks of life. It's one of the things that I'm one of the most proud of for myself is growing off the court and growing in my leadership, not necessarily the wins and losses and the successes on the court.
How was your experience like competing in the World Championship in 2006, 10, and 14?
Yeah, getting a chance to, well, we also competed in 2018 as well. World Championships, it's one of those tournaments where a lot of wheelchair basketball athletes really love it because it's just about basketball. There's no ups and downs of the Paralympics. There's no media. It's just very, very strictly about basketball. And that's one of the tournaments where I will most likely end my career without a gold medal at the World Championships. That gold medal has eluded me personally for the last 4 or 5 times that I've gotten a chance to compete. But what I always tell all of our teammates is we need that tournament because that tournament happens 2 years before the Paralympics. So we use that tournament as kind of like a practice run. And then when the Paralympics rolls around, we're ready to go and we're humming on all cylinders. So competing at any world championship or any Paralympic event is the dream for all athletes. To compare yourself against the best in the world is the reason why we all do it. So it's a great honor to be able to call yourself a world championship athlete.
What was the training like preparing for your first Paralympics to go to Beijing in 2008?
Competing on Team USA or competing for any Paralympic or Olympic Games, people always say that's a lifestyle because the things that you do when no one's watching are the things that, it's going to propel you to accomplish those goals when everybody is watching. Training every single day, whether it's getting on the court and getting some shots up, whether that's in the weight room, what we consume via our nutrition, making sure our mental health is sustainable and in the right place so that we can be the best, versions of ourselves. All of it goes into being a Team USA athlete. It's not necessarily about a specific way to train or a specific thing to do. It's a lifestyle, and that takes a lot of sacrifice and it takes a lot of commitment. But if you want to be a Team USA athlete, it's a lifestyle that you choose.
Of course, what was that time making the Paralympics for the first time going to Beijing in 2008?
Say that again, sorry.
What was that feeling like the first time you made that Beijing team to go to the Paralympics for the first time?
Yeah, the first feeling of being a Paralympic athlete, you don't really know what to expect, to be honest with you, because it's an experience that you've never had. It's something that you've been working towards your entire career. And then when you get a chance to wear that jersey with those 3 letters across your chest, it's a feeling that is pretty indescribable. Getting a chance to represent not only yourself, but your teammates, your loved ones, your country. It's a feeling that all Team USA athletes will say is probably the highlight of all of our careers. It's the first time it's mixed with a little bit of uncertainty and a little bit of nerves because you don't really know what to expect. But as soon as you step out onto the court or your field of play, you kind of fall back into the routine of doing what you love, and it becomes a lot more natural. So that first time getting a chance to wear that Team USA jersey to represent your country at the Paralympic level, I'll always remember it.
How was that feeling like the first time you got to put on that jersey and have the Paralympic symbol and the Team USA on your chest?
I mean, there's no greater feeling for an athlete than to represent your country. To wear those three letters, it feels like it brings out the best in you as an athlete. It brings out the best in our opponents because everybody loves to beat a Team USA athlete. And that just raises the bar for us to be better at all times. So, when you put on that Team USA jersey, you kind of transform into being your version of a superhero. And I'm just so grateful that I got a chance to do it more than once.
Of course, after Beijing, what was it like preparing for your next Paralympics to go to London?
Yeah, after my first Paralympic Games, you don't really have a whole lot of downtime. I had to get back to college because I was still at the University of Illinois. So I remember after those games, I flew back to campus and started classes right away and started practicing with the team. Like there wasn't a whole lot of downtime because, like I said before, being a high performance athlete is about the lifestyle. So you're just kind of on to the next thing, no matter what, the next competition. And you have to evaluate what happened, correct the things that needed to be corrected, keep doing the things that worked, but get back at it. And unfortunately, we finished fourth in Beijing in 2008, which provided us with plenty of motivation leading into London in 2012.
Of course, as you talked about it, what was that feeling like going to Beijing as a college student and then coming back home after Beijing to share that moment with your college friends?
Yeah, I was extremely lucky and fortunate that I had made my first Paralympic team when I was still competing in college. It was a little bit of uncertainty because I was still going to school. I had to make the decision to take that semester off because of all the classes I was going to miss, which provided me with a lot of schoolwork when I got back. But again, at that time, it felt like a once in a lifetime opportunity that I needed to take advantage of. When I got back, not only were my teammates and my loved ones just extremely proud of what we accomplished, they knew that I wasn't going to be satisfied with that performance. And, we all just got back to work. We knew that London was in 4 years and the race to that gold medal in London was happening right that second. So, I took a few days off, but I got back onto the court and started working on my craft pretty immediately after that Beijing trip.
How was that experience like traveling to London and performing in London at the Paralympics and then after performing get to travel around London?
Yeah, London was one of my favorite Paralympic games. Not only was it the first time that the Paralympics were really marketed to the general society, to the general population, and we were looked at as athletes first, not necessarily about being disabled athletes. So London always carries a very special place in my heart just because it was proof of concept that people like the Paralympics when they're framed in a way that we are athletes first, not just disabled athletes. We won bronze in London, which again, it wasn't the ultimate goal, but we ended up beating Team Great Britain, which, playing the villains in an arena like that in their home floor and getting a chance to win a medal at that time. It was just a really fun experience, a really fun moment for me that I look back on in my career. That's definitely one of the highlights. And then being in London, right? Like London is one of the best cities on earth. It was an easy place for my loved ones to travel to. And looking back on it, that was one of the more fun Paralympics that I've been a part of for sure.
How is that like obviously having your family and friends travel to London and support you at the Paralympics in London?
Yeah, anytime your loved ones get a chance to be in the arena, cheer for you, and to experience moments like that with you, maybe they're not on the court, but they're in the building. It just makes those experiences much more memorable, much more special. I knew that, it provides a little sense of calmness that no matter how crazy the game's going, no matter how crazy the crowd is or the stands or whatever, your loved ones are there supporting you along the way. And to have them in the building just, enhances that moment and makes it more special.
What was that feeling like bringing home a bronze medal and having that put around your neck in London?
Yeah, well, that was my first Paralympic medal. I'll always cherish that moment. It was a lot of, hard work, and the idea that even though it wasn't the ultimate goal, coming off of a fourth place finish in Beijing 4 years earlier, it proved that what we were doing was actually working. We were trending in the right direction. And if we stuck together as a group of athletes and as a high performance program, we knew that we would put ourselves in a great position in 4 years to accomplish the ultimate goal of bringing home a gold in Rio. So while London, it was a really important stepping stone moment for me and for our program.
How was it like getting to compete in Rio?
Rio is one of the most fun cities on planet Earth. It's a culture that just lives in energy, everything that they do. And I remember we got a chance to play Brazil in the very first game in Rio, right? And again, so you're playing it in front of the home country, in front of their home fans. And we were winning pretty good in the very beginning of the game. I think we were up like 14 or 16 to nothing. And I remember Brazil scored their first basket and the arena erupted in a way that like I had never heard an arena. And I just remember being out on the floor being like, this is so, so cool. Like, yeah, we kind of had the game with us at all times, but just to be in an environment like that, in an atmosphere that was full of so much energy, so much positivity, and just so much celebration for adaptive sports, it's one of those moments I'll always remember.
Of course, how did your first three Paralympics help you into making your team for Tokyo?
Every experience, whether that's positive or negative, shapes you into being the athlete, the teammate, and the leader that you choose to be. So for my first three Paralympic Games, not only did we have a lot of experience as a team going into Tokyo, but we knew what to expect. And in an uncertain COVID world, that was the Tokyo 2021 Paralympic Games, we really leaned on that experience, and we knew what it was going to take from Paralympics previous. So it was definitely one of the reasons why we were successful in Tokyo.
What was that feeling like getting to make four Paralympic teams and getting to compete for the Team USA?
Not not many athletes can say that they've gone to four Paralympic Games, and I'm kind of humbled and honored just to be able to say it. My career was filled with a lot of support from my teammates and loved ones, a lot of hard work, and I don't take something like that for granted. We'll see what happens in Paris in 2024. I'm hoping to try to compete for a spot and try to enhance the team, but just to hear the whole journey kind of said out loud that you've been to four Paralympic Games is really humbling. And like I said, I don't take that for granted.
What is that feeling like getting to put on that Team USA jersey and have the Paralympic rings on that jersey?
So the Paralympics are the agitos, they're like the little swooshes. And to be associated with the Olympic Games, but to have our own symbol, to have our own movement, and to have athletes that represent something different than our Olympic counterparts. I think it's really important for all those people with disabilities back home to have role models and icons that they can look up to and that they can continue to push themselves. If anything, we as Team USA athletes, we hope to inspire those who see themselves in us to accomplish more from this life. And, being a Team USA athlete is great. The wins and losses are great, but the true impact that you can have is back at home with your loved ones and your community.
What is it like obviously getting to compete against different countries like Canada?
Hmm. Getting a chance to compete with different countries, it not only showcases It not only provides you with a learning opportunity to show what adaptive sports means in different parts of the world, but it's fun to have some rivalries every now and again. You know, us in Canada have had a nice rivalry ever since I've been on Team USA, and it's been great to just see both programs expanding their pool of athletes and providing more opportunities for people with disabilities, while also getting a chance to compete at the highest level that there is in our sport. So building those rivalries is why we love sport, and it's not something that we should ever shy away from. It's something that we should embrace.
What is it like getting to compete in that rivalry game against Canada?
In that what game? Sorry.
Rivalry game against Canada.
Yeah, anytime you compete in a rivalry game against players who are familiar with you, you're familiar with them, it just brings out the best in everybody because there's no place to hide. We've scouted everything that we can scout. And even though we feel very prepared, so do they. And it just forces you to raise the bar and bring out the best in yourself and your teammates.
Of course, at the Paralympics, was there ever a moment that you were like, oh my God, I made it to the Paralympics. I'm living out my dream?
Yeah, so I remember in Beijing in 2008, we had gone through team processing. We had, been training in Colorado Springs for months before the games. We flew over to Beijing, and I remember getting dressed for the opening ceremonies and helping my teammates with some of their attire, them helping me. We all were all dressed in the same, attire, looking as great Team USA athletes, and getting a chance to walk into that arena with your fellow Team USA athletes. And just to experience what an opening ceremonies is like, that's the moment that I'll always remember as like, what does it mean to be a Team USA athlete? Like, that's what it means. It means being a part of something that's bigger than yourself, with a great group of athletes, with a great group of people that are all trying to accomplish the same thing, and obviously having the support of each other. Team USA athletes are one big community, and there's just nothing else like it as an athlete.
What was the feeling like going down the court at the Paralympics in your wheelchair basketball wheelchair?
It's funny, once the games or the practices start, all of the other stuff that regarding the Paralympics kind of goes away. And it's one of those things that like you prepare for, in any gym around the world. And then when you get to the Paralympics, it's just like the game that you've been playing from the very beginning. Yes, it's great to compete in all these like world famous arenas. It's great to compete against countries at the highest level in the world. And it's great to wear those three letters, but when it comes down to it, it's just basketball. It's just doing the sport that you love, millions of times, hundreds and hundreds of days before that. So that's actually where it feels a little bit of the most comfortable, is when the game starts and you can just focus on basketball.
How does it feel to have Paralympian behind your last name and add PLY?
The idea that I'll always be a Team USA athlete, I'll always be a Paralympian, regardless of the successes that we've had, just shows the amount of sacrifice, the hard work, and the commitment that you put into your craft. There's nothing like being a Team USA athlete, and looking back on my career, it's the thing I'm most proud of, is the fact that I was able to represent my loved ones, my country, and doing something that I hope is bringing a positive impact to the world.
What does it mean to be a Team USA wheelchair basketball athlete and have 4 Paralympians behind your belt?
Yeah, getting a chance to compete in 4 Paralympics, it's on one hand tells me that I'm really old, but on one hand I've had a wonderful journey and that I don't take it for granted. Each Paralympics has taught me valuable lessons and helped shape me into the athlete and teammate and leader that I am today.
What was the feeling like receiving your rings and having the Paralympic symbols and the US flag on them?
Yeah, getting a chance to see the Paralympic adjutos and associated with Team USA shows how far the adaptive sports movement has come in the US over the last few decades, but it also proves that we have so much more to go to creating a more inclusive society for people with disabilities.
Who are some of the people that you look up to in the sport of wheelchair basketball?
Yeah, wow. I've had a lot of role models growing up. The first people that come to mind are like Paul Schulte. He was my first Team USA captain, somebody who took the game to new heights from a Team USA athlete, and just a wonderful, wonderful human. I really look up to my teammates, the guys like the Brian Bells, who I attended the University of Illinois with, and then now won 2 Paralympic gold medals with. Just those relationships that you build with your teammates is the reason why we play team sports. It's the reason why some of these moments are so enhanced, because you get a chance to share them with beautiful people. So Brian's definitely one of them. Matt Scott is like somebody who I've competed with at every Team USA game that I've ever been a part of, and we've gotten a chance to ride some highs and lows, but ultimately, hopefully we've been making each other better. So the list goes on, but I've had the wonderful opportunity to compete and train and play with a lot of great athletes.
What's that like, obviously getting to play with some of those players like Brian Bell, Matt Matt Scott, Josh?
Turk.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, the best part about being on Team USA is you have years and years to grow with your teammates. And everybody looks at the Paralympics as like the culmination of all the hard work, and it is, but it really is about seeing the growth in yourself and the people around you. And those moments that you share each and every day, each and every training camp, um, it's the reason why being a Team USA athlete is so unique and so unlike any other profession, because you get a chance to see those grow around you for 4 years at a time, and then when everybody is ready to compete, you get a chance to chase down your dream and bring home a gold medal.
Of course, looking back on your Paralympic journey, what is something that you learn now that you didn't know before starting?
I think the main lesson that I've learned at from each Paralympics is to continue to be resilient. It would have been so easy for me to say that I've accomplished my Team USA career by being a Team USA athlete and stopping after Beijing when we finished fourth. But to be honest, that just wasn't enough for me, for my program, and for our teammates. We needed to continue to use those negative experiences to motivate us to grow in so many different ways. And I'm really proud that every Team USA that I've been a part of, we've gotten better and better each Paralympic Games. And that's due to a lot of hard work, a lot of sacrifice, and a lot of growth, both on and off the court.
What would you tell your younger self looking back on your career as a four-time Paralympian?
I would tell my younger self to not necessarily care so much about the wins and losses. And the real thing that you're going to value at the end of your career is the impact that you have, not only on your Team USA athletes, but on everybody that you come in contact with in the wheelchair basketball community. And it's so much more important to inspire than it is to accomplish.
What is it like, obviously, getting to live out your Paralympic dream?
It's, to live your Paralympic dream. Like I said in the beginning, it's not something that I started with. I didn't anticipate being a Team USA athlete when I started playing. It was just finding wheelchair basketball was a way for me to overcome my differences and, highlight myself as an athlete. It's taken me to levels that I never thought possible. And just thinking of the fact that I'm a four-time Paralympian is so humbling, and something I'll always cherish.
What are some of your future plans in the sport of wheelchair basketball?
I don't really know how to answer that question. I have a lot of goals that I want to accomplish. I want to continue to respect and promote the movement of adaptive sports. I want to inspire the next generation of adaptive sports athletes to dream bigger. In the short term, I still hope I'm good enough to compete in Paris in 2024 and make it 5 Paralympic Games at the end of my career. But a lot of it is unknown, and we're just going to take it one day at a time. But I have I have big goals for myself. I have big dreams for adaptive sports in general, and I can't wait to see the impact that we can have in the years coming.
Of course, what is that feeling gonna feel like to get to make that Paris and LA Paralympics?
Well, I can say with some pretty high confidence that I won't be competing in LA. I think I'll be a little bit too old at that point. But Paris is only 2 years away, and you never know what can happen. I am planning on trying out for the team. So if the coaching staff feels that I still have something to offer, I would love to be a part of that group and help them along the way. But I'm going to continue to just have a positive impact on the sport and a positive impact on my community.
What advice would you give those college wheelchair basketball players looking to play?
The advice I always give is to continue to grow both on and off the court. You don't have to be a finished product at any point. There's always room for improvement, both for your team and for yourself. And don't shy away from that improvement, because it's going to take you, that improvement is going to take you to heights and points in your career that you never thought possible if you stick with it.
What advice would you give those college wheelchair basketball players looking to make a Paralympic team?
For anyone looking to be a Paralympian, I would say that it takes an incredible amount of hard work and sacrifice, and to understand and embrace the lifestyle that you have to live in order to be a Team USA athlete. It's those moments that no one is watching that determines whether or not you're going to be a Team USA athlete, not the moments where the whole world, it seems like, is watching you and your performance.
What advice would you give those Paralympians that are looking to compete for the first time or even multiple times like you have?
Again, if you want to be a multi-time Paralympian, again, it's about the lifestyle. It's about the things that you do on like a random Tuesday that's going to influence, the direction of your career. So either you embrace the lifestyle, and continue to grow as both an athlete and a person.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
Sure. So social media is a great way to contact me. I'm on Instagram and Facebook. Just search my name and it'll pop right up. And I'd be happy to continue this chat, or just be a resource for anybody looking to talk hoops.
Thank you again, Steve Serio, for your interview, and best of luck in your future as a U.S. Paralympian wheelchair basketball player.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Brandon. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Steve Serio, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Take care.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.